Hi guys, welcome to my presentation on the international conflict about the civil war in South Sudan. So we should probably start by going over where South Sudan actually is. It's located in Africa. It was once part of Sudan originally, and Sudan was once the largest and one of the most geographically diverse states in Africa. In 2011, Sudan split into two countries after the people of the South uh, voted for their own independence. So there's a few things that sparked the war in South Sudan. Let's start with the individual level of analysis here. So we have the President Salva Kiir and the Vice President Riek Machar. At first, the President Kiir seemed to be more committed to preventing ethnic tensions from splitting apart the fledgling country. So basically, Kiir appointed Machar, who was of a different ethnic group, to be his vice president. And this was to try to build a unity government in which the two rival ethnic groups could share power. But during this time, Machar began vocally criticizing Kiir's leadership of the country and his handling of the economy, and Machar then announced his intention to challenge Kiir for the presidency in 2015. And then Kiir accused Machar of plotting a coup, and a coup is like a takeover of the government. And then all of this led to Kiir firing Machar, and it started the civil war between the now government and Machar, which is now the rebel group. Two ethnic groups involved are the Dinka, which is the president's ethnic group, and the Nuer, which is the vice president's ethnic group. And because the two men represented rival ethnic groups with long-lasting tensions and a history of violence, the political fight basically quickly turned into an all-out ethnic conflict. People that were loyal to both sides took up arms and basically just slaughtered each other. And these tensions have caused the army to split. There's been mass killings along the ethnic lines as well, and more than 1,000 people were killed and 100,000 displaced in the first week of this civil war. Both sides have also been accused of committing war crimes and crimes against humanity, which include rape, torture, and the use of child soldiers. So the war has been going on for 5 years now, and the use of violence is horrific. Rape has become a weapon of war in South Sudan. Almost 65% of South Sudanese women have experienced sexual or physical violence at some point. So basically, you do not want to be a woman living in South Sudan. As for torture, there's a young child who was strangled and gang raped, and also more children have been burned alive, while these government soldiers basically sit in front of their houses, blocking the doors so they can't get out. And also child soldiers are also used. As for genocide, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan has found disturbing indicators of potential genocide inside the country as well. And this includes hate crime, hate speech, crackdown on the media and civil society, and even a deepening division among the country's 64 ethnic groups. So the Civil War today, so back in 2017, actually, the United States was pushing for a United Nations arms embargo on South Sudan to try and limit the weapons flowing into the country. But there was more countries actually aiding them on getting weapons. So basically, this was impossible to do. Okay, so there's also like a peace process that's going on currently. So yesterday, the South Sudan main armed opposition group announced the readiness of its leader Machar to meet with President Kiir to make a breakthrough in the stalled peace process. During this meeting, they hope to engage positively to reach a negotiable settlement for the ongoing conflict. So hopefully something will be agreed upon in at least July of this year. And this again is a meeting between Kiir and Machar. So there is still other problems going on because of this war today. Aid is being obstructed because of the emergence of more armed groups, and this is preventing life-saving assistance, and it may lead to an extreme hunger situation in the country. And about 4 months ago, the United Nations warned unless aid and access were maintained, a record of 7.1 million South Sudanese would face acute food insecurity between May and July of this year. So this is my presentation on the civil war in South Sudan, which is still currently going on, and hopefully it will be ended shortly.